Bro, why are you doing that to me when I'm checking myself out?
So I gotta catch my breath. I just had to run up and downstairs to get this. So
Oh, sorry, chat. This guy had to run 50 flights of stairs to get downstairs.
yeah,
He's a posh boy.
my house is
He
just
lives in
so big
Vancouver
that I
now.
had to run down so many stairs.
Yeah, this guy left. He
Massive
actually used to be
house.
from like Markham, but then he left because he doesn't like us. He's too good for us. But anyways, welcome back to another episode of the lunch table. It's your favorite Chink, Ethan, and it's your favorite Packy. Is that offensive? I call you a Packy.
Yes, it is.
It's my favorite Pakistani man, Imran. Uh, we're without Zaim again because Zaim doesn't love us, honestly. So it's
Yeah,
just
this
me and
guy
Imran
just
today. But today is all about NBA playoffs. So we're covering the play-ins. We know we missed a week of recording, but we back and we have a lot of stuff to talk about today. And you can start us off because
well, I'll just quickly, I do want to talk about NFL news, stuff that like just came out like yesterday. Super quick. Zach Wilson got traded to the Broncos. That might be one of the weirdest moves right now I've seen.
yeah, when I saw that shit, that trade is weird. It's
It
like
doesn't make any sense. They bought out Russell Wilson, who had a decent year last year, and they thought, you know who we should go get?
Zach
One of
Wilson.
the most underperforming players in the NFL
Hmm.
who can't do anything with a good offense. I don't even know what to say. I
I
don't
know,
get it.
I
They've
know.
got
You
Jarrett
take him.
Stidham and Zach Wilson as their starting QB tandem. I don't know. I don't even know how they're going to draft a quarterback because they need to really be in the top three or four to do that, and they're not right now. I don't know if they're planning on moving up or something, but
I
I
think they
don't
might
know. Just I
wait a
had to say
year.
that this trade was just really weird.
What if they wait for next year's draft instead of this year's? Because
Well, maybe that's
who's
what they
coming
could
next
be
year?
doing.
Is
Uh,
Arch Manning next year? I heard he's going to be good.
no, he'll be the year after. This year
No.
was his freshman year. He has to do 2 more years.
So next year, maybe the Broncos are looking at something. They're just thinking of Zach Wilson as a just
For some
a
reason, I can't think
1 year
of who's going to
rental.
be there next year, but I know that Quinn Ewers will be there next season. He was playing
Oh,
for
the white
Texas
boy?
right
I
now.
heard good things about him.
He is good, but he had like not as good a year as I think people thought. So everyone thought maybe he's going to be kind of a second round pick or third round
Hmm.
pick. But he's staying. He had a good year. He went to the college football semifinal. So
But he's staying back a year. That's
he's
good.
staying
That's
one more
smart.
year. It's not going to hurt him. If anything, it's only going to benefit him
That's
because,
good. That's good.
but yeah, so maybe him, but there's probably a bunch more. I just, for some reason, I can't even think of it right now. And then the other big news that came out, I believe it was earlier today. The New York Giants want to trade up to get Drake May, is the rumor right now.
Hmm.
So that means that the only way that this is possible is if that they trade into the top three, which means that one of those three teams, one of the Bears, the Commanders, or the Patriots would have to trade out of that spot, assuming that the top three QBs all go in the top three picks. What makes
Hmm.
it more interesting is that the Vikings also want to trade up, but they want to get JJ McCarthy, which makes me think the Giants probably would trade up to number 4 or 5 to get McCarthy, which means that someone is going to overpay like crazy to move up in the draft, and one team is going to get an absolute fleece job done. So I don't know. It's,
Not the Bears. The Bears wouldn't trade. But I think the Bears would trade. They're going to trade their what they have number 9
oh yeah, they could move that pick, eight or
because
nine.
they only have 4 picks in this draft. So I think they're definitely going to
Yeah,
move down from 9 and get a big haul for that.
some asset management could be, but either
Ryan
way, one
Bowles
of
has
these
done a good
teams
job.
is honestly. I don't think that the Giants are really
But
in
like,
a
what are they going to do? Because they just paid Daniel Jones what 30 something mil a year.
exactly. It doesn't make it. They're not really in a position to do
They
these
didn't
kind
want to pay
of things.
Saquon. They want to pay Daniel Jones, and then now you realize Daniel Jones isn't the
But
main guy.
also, he's got no offense now. Without Saquon, that offense has nothing. The offensive line underperforms like crazy, and they don't have any great receivers. So if they did draft Drake May, he'd be going into an unsuccessful offense anyways.
Hmm.
It doesn't
Oh,
really
maybe,
make a ton of
maybe
sense.
I think what they're gonna do is if they do draft a quarterback, the Giants, they're gonna have him sit back a year and have Daniel Jones be the starter, and they're gonna switch. They're gonna
Could
rotate
be.
them, I
It
think.
could be. I
But
think what
like,
the Giants should do is there's a lot of good wide receivers in this draft. I
hmm,
think they should just take a receiver. Do what the Jets did because they got Garrett Wilson a couple of years ago.
yeah,
And now look, that offense it found a way to work itself out because Brees Hall is there, and then they got managed to get Aaron Rodgers because he sees the young team
hmm.
coming up, the tight ends and whatever, and
The
now
line is good.
O-line is good. Now they might draft Brock Bowers apparently, which will be huge because he's the best tight end in the class. And then that's all of a sudden a fully loaded offense. The Giants need to do that. They need to kind of
Mhm.
follow in those footsteps. I think that they have the coach to do it. I really like their coach, but I think that I think they should give Daniel Jones one more chance, and I think they should wait to draft a quarterback because I don't think that they're going to get anybody great.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure. The Vikings makes more sense to me because they are trying to win now, and they lost Kirk Cousins.
Mhm.
So I don't know. I like the idea of them going and getting JJ McCarthy. I don't like the Giants making this move.
I think it's very this. I don't know. This draft is very like it's a very hyped up draft because there's so many like different things that could happen because you got teams that need quarterback, and then you have teams that are in the top five that for sure need a quarterback. But then you have those mid-tier teams like the Vikings that are like one quarterback away from possibly in the playoffs or making that push. So it's like we'll see which teams really need to they realize like, okay, we're going for it this year.
Yeah. And the draft is this Thursday, so it's going to be pretty
This Thursday.
exciting.
We'll definitely do a podcast on that and draft recap. We'll recap the
Yeah, yeah,
whole.
we'll cover all that stuff. But for now, let's move to NBA now. And I think, do you want to talk about playoffs first, or do you want to talk about awards first?
I think we should talk about playing or awards or and then playing.
Okay, so we'll start with the awards. The first one that's actually been given out is Tyrese Maxey.
Most
He won
improved
Most Improved Player.
for sure.
Um,
I saw that. Kobe White was a close second, and I think third was Jalen Williams or no Sengun. Sengun was
yeah,
third.
yeah, it was Şengün, and I mean Maxey had a pretty phenomenal year.
Mhm.
I think he had 25 points a game.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah, yeah. He All-Star first year, first time All-Star.
exactly.
Took over that point guard role from Harden after he left.
Well, and the Sixers, if you think about it, right, without Embiid, he still managed to have such a crucial role and help them get
Hmm.
into
Their
playoffs.
first guy.
Yeah. So I mean, when they put the money on for him to do well, he actually came back and he did it, right? So
Hmm.
that they already know now that they've got a bit of a star there, and they know they have a guy that they can depend on,
Yeah.
which is huge, knowing that, if Embiid can't be there, if he needs rest, that's your guy, right?
Hmm. It's
So
like they found their franchise point guard, and they didn't even
yeah,
have to do anything to find him. They just drafted him, and they didn't
yeah.
have to give up much. You lose,
Well,
you
because
give
he
away Harden.
also I believe it was his rookie year 2 years ago, 2 years ago, right?
That was yeah, 2 years ago.
He showed kind of glimpses of being a really good player, but
Mm.
there was no consistency. And then
Then
last year, he
Kentucky
really put it
boys.
together.
Mm. Yeah,
And
for
then
sure.
now this year, like you said, he's an all-star.
First option,
He
number
was
one
one of the best
option.
point guards in the year. It's huge for the Sixers, and he's on
Definitely.
a winning team. That's what helps him the most, is that he did it on a winning team.
He is a good coach. Nick Nurse is a good coach.
Yep. And now he's
You've
getting
seen
that
what he's
nice early
done.
playoff experience
Mhm.
as well,
You've seen what he's
which,
done with Fred VanVleet, Kyle Lowry, all these point guards.
yeah.
So Maxey kind of fits that mold. But I see a lot of people talking about Kobe White. They said they wanted Kobe White. They said Kobe White was robbed. I'm sorry. Kobe White had a great year, but he was
Yeah, he
not.
was. I don't think he was robbed,
Yeah.
but he did have a good year. He started off a little bit slow though. Like he didn't
Yeah, I don't
start off
know.
super
It's
quick because I don't
and
know.
then
I think his role with the
All-Star,
yeah,
All-Star
but I
break,
think
he
his
exploded.
role with the Bulls was just not good enough. And then they kind of
Mm.
figured out where he actually should be, and then he started crushing because he had a pretty good 3-point percentage this year. And I mean, that's what the Bulls needed. They needed like depth and consistency.
Yeah, because of Zach LaVine, he's always hurt. He's always out.
Yeah,
He doesn't want to play. He almost got traded.
exactly.
You have Kobe White. You got Io DeSumo. You got DeRozan.
Yeah,
It's
got
still a
a
very mid team, but like at
But
least
it's a
wasn't
growing squad.
yeah.
It's a growing squad. They'll figure it out.
Mm. I
Also,
think Sengun would have won it,
that's what I
honestly.
was about to say. I think I think he had at least he had the second best year out of the three of them. I thought he
Yeah,
was
if he didn't get
Kobe
hurt
White.
because he is in the West and it's loaded to get an all-star now in the West.
Yeah, and
So
he
if you're
was.
a
If you think
center
about the Rockets, right? Because the Rockets, who's their best player?
right now, it's Fred
Is
and
it
Lee.
Fred? Yeah. So besides him, it was probably Sengun who was second when he was
Yeah,
playing.
and then
And
Jalen
that
Green.
team was not a great team, and he still managed to produce, right?
Mhm.
So he was still the best guy. Obviously, we have to wait and see how he plays when he's on a great team, see
Hmm.
how his role is, see if he can still manage to do what he's doing now with other great players.
Hmm.
But for the year he had and the coaching and the chemistry, I think he had a pretty good year. But any guy who makes the playoffs and also does really well automatically jumps you, I think.
Hmm.
So yeah. So that was most improved. And now we'll move on to first our thoughts for Rookie of the Year. And the nominees were Chet, Wembanyama, and Brandon Miller. So I
Okay,
don't
it's a
know.
clear favorite, Wembanyama. You
Yeah.
can't even place bets on him anymore. That's how bad it is. How
Yeah.
well it is.
Yeah. It's
We
just,
don't need to talk too much about it. I think everyone knows already.
yeah. Just to rattle off stats quickly, Wemby had 24 points, almost 11 rebounds, and almost 4 assists, along with a steal and 3.6 blocks a game this year. That in itself is insane. He had a
On a minutes
couple
restriction too.
on a minutes restriction, and he had a couple of games this year where he almost had a quadruple double.
Yeah, and
Which is
blocks. Crazy.
unbelievable. He will get one. For sure he's gonna get one next year.
The Spurs, man, they're lucky. They got David Robson, and then they had Tim Duncan. Now you have the Wemby area,
And he's got
or
Tim Duncan helping him out as well. Plus he's
You
got
got
Coach
I've
Pop.
seen Manu helping Parker.
Yeah.
And
All
the
these
Spurs
Spurs guys, they love the team, right? There's something about that culture with that team. They
it's the
love it
coach
there.
too. They're just very
Yeah.
professional, I feel like.
It's a different kind of thing. It's actually really, really good.
They have
So
some
I'm
big old
really
women
excited
down
to
there
see.
though.
Yeah. And anyways, so then we have Chet, who had 16.5 points, 8 rebounds, 2.4 assists, and 2.3 blocks. Really good rookie year. Just
Kind of cooled
Wemby.
down a little bit
Yeah, at the end of the season for
in the
sure.
end of the season, but it's gonna be a big playoffs for OKC, so he's gonna need to perform.
He also had to do that with competition in the team, right? Because that's a really good team.
Yeah,
They're first in the
the
West.
deep team,
So if
SGA,
you're
the
getting
Oregon
minutes
City,
and producing with that
Warriors.
kind of team, then you know that you're doing something right.
And it's his rookie year too, technically.
Yep, it
First
is.
year. And the 1 seed too, is just crazy.
And then finally, Brandon Miller, 17.3 points, 4 rebounds, and 2.4 assists a game. Honestly, a really good season for a rookie. Uh,
Facts. And he's not playing without LaMelo too. Imagine you had LaMelo
yeah,
with Brandon Miller. LaMelo would he's like LeBron. They just make everyone around them better because he's that
yeah,
facilitator.
yeah. Well, they would have been a
Yeah,
much better
great year.
team this year, the Hornets.
Yeah,
So
great year
they've
for
got
Brandon.
they've got good stuff going on there. One that's got a little bit more controversy to it, Defensive Player of the Year.
Hmm.
Finalists are Bam Adebayo, Rudy Gobert, and Victor Wembanyama. But Anthony Davis thinks that he should be nominated.
He should. I think
And I think
he's
he's right.
Bam spot. I think he definitely takes
Yeah,
that spot.
if
He
we
played
take a
more
look,
games too than
yeah,
Bam, I think. He played 76 games, I think. That's the
yeah. So
most.
I think he tied a career high.
Wow. Yeah.
But Bam, if we just look at sort of just the defensive stats, I know that this isn't totally just on stats, but if we just look at that, Bam had a steal and a block a game. Rudy had a steal and 2 blocks a game. AD had a steal and 2 blocks a game. And we already know Victor's stats. This guy had almost 4 blocks a game, like, and a steal. So really, I mean, because the Spurs didn't do that well this year, he probably won't win. But
Yeah, everyone says Gobert is
Rudy's
gonna win.
Rudy's probably gonna win it.
But I think
But I think,
there's so much hate towards Gobert. Like even he said, I think people just don't like me. But like I understand why you might not like him because of that. Remember the coronavirus, all that.
yeah, when he touched all
He
the
touched the
mics and
mic and
stuff,
stuff.
it's not
Like,
real.
okay, he made a mistake, but like you can't deny you would want him on your team. Maybe
Yeah,
not in the playoffs or
absolutely.
anything, but like it's a regular season award, and it
Yeah,
shows that he's the best. He's consistent.
yeah,
So I think it's either him, Victor, or AD. But yeah, I think he's gonna win them.
yeah.
Gobert's gonna
But
win
I
the
do
Heat
think that AD should have been nominated
for sure.
for sure. I think that he should have been. So I think he's right this time about it. It was funny, right? Paul Pierce said after the game yesterday that him not being able to stop that final shot is the reason why he wasn't nominated. Like he said,
He
like it
wasn't
just
nominated
defines.
before that though.
No, but he was saying like this is why. Like I guess he basically was saying like you're not clutch on defense. Which
And
Paul
that's just
Pierce, I mean, come on, man.
that
Like
was a hard shot to guard too.
it was a good shot. Also, it was Jamal Murray, right?
I know it's like you
This guy's one of the
obviously
best
you're
point
not
guards in
going to
the
be
league.
able. You're not a
Come on.
perimeter defender if you're a center. You're not going to clamp up a 6'3" shifty guard.
Exactly. And dude,
That's an all-star.
whenever someone hits a buzzer beater, nobody ever or so whenever someone hits a last minute, last second clutch shot,
Yeah.
nobody ever talks about the guy defending him.
Hmm.
It's always about how good of a play the shot maker took.
Hmm.
AD played good enough defense to
That
make
was
him
good
take a
defense. He put a
shot.
hand up. He
Dude,
even
he
leaned
he he
towards
made
him.
him work for it. If AD just stood there and didn't do anything, then
Yeah,
I get it. But he didn't. He jumped. He really went for it because you can't foul him. You can't give him free shots at the line.
yeah,
So I don't know. I think Paul Pierce just all these guys they want to talk right all the
yeah.
time,
Well,
just say
Paul Pierce
whatever the heck
always
they want.
talks. This guy's the. I don't know. I don't like this guy. Like,
Dude, so
remember
does
when he?
Perkins, bro. So does Perkins. It's getting annoying.
Yeah,
Oh
I don't know.
my God.
I don't like Paul Pierce ever since he's just salty because LeBron beat his ass so many times. And remember
Yeah.
when he said, "Oh, I had a better career than Wade." Like, really? No, you didn't, bro.
No, you did not, brother. No, you did not. Guy went to the Celtics, then the what was it? The Nets,
Nets, then the Wizards, then the
Wizards.
Clippers.
Dude, what a joke. What a joke.
Yeah, it's like you retired, you got your ring. Now do
It's
your
funny.
job.
He
Just,
retired at the bottom too. Like he didn't play good at the end of his career. Like nothing
I
special.
mean, not everyone's like LeBron, you know.
But that's
But he
what I
should
mean.
retire as
Like,
a
dude,
Celtic
just
now.
like say what you want, give your opinion. Don't like absolutely roast the guy because he didn't get the clutch stop. How many clutch stops does Paul Pierce have with one
How
second
many?
left and a shifty guard? Like, come on. Doesn't make any sense. Anyways, Rudy's gonna win it. Everybody wants him. So even though people say they don't like him, I'm pretty sure every single GM in the league wouldn't mind trading for him, right? So good on him. And lastly, NBA MVP, Luka, Shai, Jokic. Pretty stacked MVP list as it should be.
Should be
Um,
Luca.
it should be Luka. It should be. That's the
The
capital
Luca
X.
hate needs to
It,
stop.
it
Like
should be.
I don't know how he hasn't won
Unfortunately,
MVP.
unfortunately, it's going to be Jokic. I have a feeling it's going to be Jokic. And the only reason why is because his stats are just like a little bit more stuffed. That's going to help him. Plus, the Nuggets were
They're
what,
the
2 seed?
two seed.
They were the 2 seed. So just to rattle off the stats before we start talking about this, Luka had 33.9 points, 9.2 rebounds, 9.8 assists, and a steal a game. Shai had 30.1 points, 5.5 rebounds, 6.2 assists, and 2 steals a game. And then Jokic had 26.4 points, 12.4 rebounds, 9 assists, a steal, and a block a game. Now, out of those three guys, you would think Jokic wouldn't win it, but because he has more rebounds and he's got a block a game,
Mhm.
plus they're the 2 seed, plus he has the history of already being an MVP, it immediately puts him to the top, right? He always gets this buzz around him that because he did it before, oh,
Yeah.
he's probably just going to do it again,
Hmm.
right? And I think that's what's hurting Luka because I think Luka definitely deserves it
Hmm.
because he pulled that Mavs team from the depths, bro. Like that team is
Yeah,
without
they were at
that
the
team, it's not great.
bottom.
That without him, that team is not good.
But
All
if we had votes, we'd vote for Luca, just saying, you know.
yeah, we would. Because the way that you want to think about this is if you took Luka out of the Mavs, if you took Shai out of the Thunder, and you took Jokic out of the Nuggets, which
Hmm.
team would do the worst, right? I'm pretty sure it would be the Mavericks.
Definitely.
I think so, because I think the Nuggets still have a ton of guys who can score. Right? They've got
Jamal,
Aaron Gordon and Jamal Murray there,
mm,
just to name two
and
guys. They
Michael
definitely got
Porter.
that. Yeah, yeah, Michael Porter. Holy cow, I'm forgetting about that too. Shot, dude, the Thunder team is stacked. Like even though he's
So much
unbelievable,
depth.
they've got so
Yeah.
much. They would definitely do better. Well, who do the Mavericks have? Because you get
Kyrie,
Luka, they've got Kyrie.
Daniel Gafford,
Yes,
Derek
see,
Lively,
there you go already.
Dante Exum. But like the thing about Luca, he's like kind of like Jokic. They're like the whole offense relies on them. Like
Yeah,
Shea
it
would
runs
do his
around.
ISOs and his fadeaway. It's like
Yeah,
don't get me wrong, Shea's like a phenomenal, great player, but
he's probably number
it's
three.
just yeah,
Sure.
it's just if you ask any GM, who do you want on your team? They're picking Luca or Jokic. They're not
Yeah,
picking Shea. But I want Luca because just the amount of attention he attracts on offense, he can pass the ball,
yeah.
he can hit these crazy shots. He's shown to be clutch.
You
Hit
also
tough.
see that this guy can shoot from anywhere. Like his range
He's not
is
scared. He's not afraid.
unbelievable. Yeah, he's got so much confidence. Jokic, I mean, you can't really knock this guy. Like he's still like incredible,
Hmm.
right? But it's funny too. These two guys are also two guys that earlier on in their career, everyone was like getting after them about their fitness because they don't look that fit.
Yeah.
Like Jokic looks kind of big, and honestly,
Luca,
Luka before looked kind of big too.
He slimmed down a little bit
He
though,
did slim down a little bit, but everyone was just like, "Oh, are these guys taking care of their weight and everything? Like, what's going on? How can they play well?" And meanwhile, they're fighting for the MVP every year.
they
So I
just
mean,
play at their own pace too. They control the game. They control they let like the pace. They control the tempo, everything
yeah. So I mean, MVP wise, I think both of us would take Luca.
for sure.
Your defensive player of the year, I think both of us will take Rudy. And I think for rookie of the year, it's clear it's Wembanyama, right?
Oh,
So
six man.
who are the nominees for sixth man? I didn't
I
see
think it's
that.
Malik Monk,
Hmm.
Nas Reed. Forgot the last one.
Yeah, give it a check. I did not write that down. I totally forgot about six man. Can't
Malik
forget about
Monk,
the six.
Bobby Portis Jr., and Nas Reed. I think
Oh,
Monk's
Portis
gonna
had a
go.
pretty good year.
If you, yeah, Bobby Portis, he's good, but like I feel like if Malik Monk was on the Kings, even he said himself, they win that series. They would be in the playoffs right now because outside of
Yeah.
Sabonis and Fox, you don't have anyone to create that offense for
It was
Bobby Portis.
unfortunate he got hurt at that time. It was really
Yeah,
unfortunate timing for that injury.
him and
It's
Kevin
crucial.
Herter.
Yeah, and who was the other nominee?
Nas Reed. Nas Reed had a good year.
Yeah, he did. He's on T-Wolves, right?
Yeah, yeah. He
Yeah.
filled in for Cat when he got hurt.
Yeah. He actually played up to it pretty well.
Everyone loves Nas Reed. I always see the memes, but
Yeah.
it's Malik Monk, I think.
I
I think he
agree.
averaged like
Yeah.
16, 15 off the bench. He's just like he reminds me of like Lou Will or like Jamal Crawford, that guard.
Yeah.
Just what like
Well,
that.
he's kind of like just like the team's X factor, right? They know
Mhm.
that they're going to get a good amount of production out of him all the time. So it just, yeah,
Yeah,
I agree with you. I
he's
think
a
six.
shooter. He's just that what's the word? He's like a microwave off the bench. He'll get you bucket. He's a bucket getter.
Yeah. So I mean, overall, those are kind of our predictions as well as talked about Maxi winning. Well deserved. And then now we'll move into play-in and slash playoffs. So if you want to cover the first four matchups that happened.
Okay, I'll cover it. So we had Lakers versus Pelicans for the seventh seed. Lakers beat the Pelicans. I think they played two days before that before the end of the season.
Yep.
The Lakers won that game. LeBron played great. AD great. Pelicans. I think they were playing until Zion got hurt in the
It
third or
was,
fourth quarter.
yeah, Zion, what he had 40 and
Yeah,
he
he had
was
40.
looking
He was
really
the only
good.
one doing anything.
And then it's so funny too, all year people have been knocking him again about his weight and everything.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, the guy still played 70 games this year.
He had a
Good
good year this
year.
year.
Hmm?
He had a good year.
He had a great year. And then this sucked because yeah, I know that you love the Lakers, but I don't like it when the best players get hurt because I want to see a game, right?
I
And as
mean, we
soon
saw
as
like
he
most
got,
of the game.
yeah,
He
as soon
played
as he
most
got
of
hurt, it
it,
kind of
but he
killed
just
their
got
momentum.
hurt.
Yeah.
But yeah, the Lakers won that. Now okay, we'll talk about the Lakers later. I want to talk
Yeah.
about them right now. Then the Pelicans lost, and then they played the um, the winner of the Warriors and Kings, and the Kings spanked the Warriors. They beat them by 20. They didn't take their foot off the gas. Um, Honestly, no excuses for the Warriors. Oh, that was the game that Clay dropped 0 points.
Yeah.
Remember, he
0
was
for 8, right? He
0
went 0
for
for 8.
6, 0 for 6 from three, 0 for 10
Yeah.
from the field.
Okay, yeah, that was what it was. 0 for 10.
Unacceptable. Like,
Unacceptable. And think about it. That might, I don't, honestly, I don't think so. That might have been his last game as a Warrior. It
I
might have been.
mean, depends what he wants. Like, will he re-sign for a smaller amount, or will he, get
All right.
traded?
So the question about that is where are the Warriors going to spend their money? Like, who are they going to
Mhm.
get that's going to cost that much, right? Because they could pay him a little bit more. Like, the thing is, who's going to pay for Clay, right? At the end of the
There's
day?
always some stupid team that pays for Clay, bro.
Well,
I think or the
a bottom
Orlando,
team might
the
pay for him.
Magic.
Yeah, a team that can't really get players, they would try, but normally they have to trade for players. So I don't know. It's really hard to imagine Clay not in a Warrior jersey.
Mhm,
But if it is, the end of his time there, that was an incredible run.
mhm,
But that last game was not the fairy tale ending you expect from a guy who's had such a high level of play his whole career,
mhm.
right? Like they literally called you and Steph Curry the Splash Brothers, right? Like you guys were
I know. And he told everyone that this year is going to be his best year, his year, and you drop zero
uh,
points. It's just unacceptable. And then if you look at the contract situation for them, they don't have money to like spend around because you got 24, 25 mil that you're paying Draymond. You got 50 plus mil that you're paying Steph. You got is it is this the last year? This might be his last year, 43 million
Who?
guaranteed.
Steph?
Clay. Clay.
Oh, Clay. Yeah, yeah. This is his last year. It is.
And then you have Chris Paul as well, making 30. Making 30 mil? I did not know Chris Paul was making 30 mil, but it's
Because
15 mil.
he's still on the big deal from
Oh,
the Suns, I
oh
think.
yeah, yeah. He's getting paid from I think
He's
he's getting paid. But
they
he's
didn't
getting
re
15.8.
he might
It's
be getting half from a different team.
hmm. And then you got
But
Wiggins
still a lot.
as
Yeah.
well, who's getting paid 24, 26. He's gonna
Yeah.
make 30 mil in 3 years. So you
Yeah.
see, you got one, two, you got five of your guys getting paid 20 plus mil. You don't have money to spend.
Yeah, it's
So you gotta like
crazy.
gotta think of something fast because same time you're deciding whether or not to rebuild or not because you have the young guys, you have Moody, you have Kuminga, you have Pocha. How do you say his name? Pochemski. I'll just call
I
him
don't
Brandon. You
do
have
yeah. Yeah.
Jackson Davis. You have those are four young guys that helped this year, and they're all 21 and 24. And then you have
Well,
this
and it sucks
aging.
too because they played, I guess, to this level all year to try and make the playoffs, and now that they're
Mhm,
not in,
mhm,
they're in a weird draft position because they're not going to get this is not going to be a lottery pick, I don't think. Like they're not going
mhm,
to get an excellent player or someone who's considered a star,
mhm,
or at least like that's predicted, right? Obviously, a star can come from
mhm.
anywhere in the draft, but based on like ranking, they're not going to be getting the one of the best players in the draft. So they
Yeah.
did all this, and now and they're in this little weird spot where it's like, who do we pick now? Do we pick for best player available, or do we pick for what we need? And what they really need is kind of everything, but now they're gonna have to kind of figure out what they do because this is not the spot I think that they expected to be. And I really think that I thought that Curry was gonna get them through, but he
Mhm,
can't do it by himself. Like he can't do it without Clay at least scoring a basket, right? Like the guy's got to put up at least 10 to 15 points, right? Because
mhm.
Draymond played, right?
Yeah.
And
I think he had
kept
like
it clean.
12 and 8 and 8 or something. It
Yeah.
was very,
So
very
he
Draymond
did
style.
his part, right? He did his part. Everyone on the team really did. And then Clay not being there is like the worst thing that
Chris
could have.
Paul didn't play well either.
Yeah,
He
all year
hasn't,
kind of been like that for him. He hasn't really
yeah,
been
but
great.
I say this year, it's a very wasted year for the Warriors. It's a wasted Steph Curry year. He's 36. He's turning
Yeah.
37. It's,
Yeah.
it's like you have to decide whether or not what to do. And I think the biggest regret that they have is trading Jordan Poole.
Oh yeah. They
Because,
lost the shooting guard depth or point guard depth, I guess, whatever
and
you
you
want to
decide to
say.
pay Wiggins and Poole, and then you trade Poole for Chris Paul, basically. Like,
Yeah. And
it's
right now
just,
that Chris Paul
not worth
trade, like in general, like just
it.
getting Chris Paul, not looking so good right now, right? I think that they were hoping that him moving from because he was on the Suns before, right?
Yeah.
Him moving because he was great on the Suns. It looked like him and Devin Booker had a ton of chemistry
Yeah,
together.
he'd average like 16, 15, and 8 or 7 or
He was
9.
also clutch. He was making all his shots, everything. And then they were hoping that's the Chris Paul that they were getting, right? But you have to also remember he's getting a lot older.
He's
He's well in
38.
his prime. He's probably 2 to 4 years away from retiring, probably two, right? I don't know what they were expecting out of him, but they also had him coming off the
Yeah.
bench, right? First time in his career he's ever come off the bench.
6 man. And then they try to put him at shooting guard. Remember it? They
Yeah,
try to
it
play
didn't work.
Steph Curry, Chris Paul. No, it was Paul, Curry, Wiggins, Green, and Looney, I think. And
Almost like a small ball lineup.
that lineup got ripped because
Torched.
you
Yeah.
got Curry, who's not a defensive liability, but he's not big enough to guard the
But he's not
shooting
known
guard.
for his defensive ability, so
Yeah.
it
And then
didn't
you got
matter.
Chris Paul, who's like, is he really a defensive liability now? Because he's slower, he's small, he's short.
Well, he's never been great on defense. He's good at reading the player early on, like when they're
Yeah.
at like the 3-point line, because he can get a
Uh,
steal.
I think
But besides
he's a
that,
good like you don't want him as your first main defender. Like if you
no, I mean he can read the floor. He can read
yeah,
the
he
floor.
can
He
IQ
knows
he's
a
still
lot.
there.
But he's also being his because how tall is he?
He's
Six
six
foot?
foot flat
Yeah,
or
he
6'1" or something.
even though like that's considered tall in our world, when you get into the NBA, that's one of the
Short.
shortest that you can be, right? So it just makes everything harder, right? So I mean, I don't know, it didn't work out for them. They have a lot of tough decisions to make. I think that, Steve Kerr really has to make some tough choices because
Hmm.
maybe they have to just start looking at trading players, right? Maybe it's
Hmm.
time to break that team up. I know that they love Draymond or whatever, but maybe it's time to let him go, move
Let
on,
him go, but get some value. Let Clay
restart.
go.
I
Just
don't think
rebuild.
I don't think that they would ever let Curry go. I think they want him to
No,
be
they
there
love him
forever.
too much.
So, and also I don't think Oakland would ever forgive them for trading Steph Curry away. So
Yeah.
Steph Curry is going nowhere. I think he's always going to be there, but he's already been through one massive change with the Warriors when like Draymond like barely played and Clay was hurt with the ACL or Achilles, and
Oh,
they
and then
had
he
young
got hurt.
guys. Yeah, and they had the young guys like Jordan Poole when they were starting. It was a whole entire new lineup when Curry came back from his injuries, and he had
And
to
then they
go through
won.
this whole entire new change, and they look good.
They won
But
the
now
chip.
he's gonna have to go through it again.
Hmm.
Right? This is going to be the second time. I mean, obviously he'll probably be willing to do it. I don't think he
Yeah,
wants
yeah.
on this team. He loves Steve Kerr. I think as long as Steve Kerr is there, Steph Curry's happy. So they're going to figure it out. And I'm sure any move that they make, they're going to talk with Steph first about it. Right? They're going to ask him what he thinks. Because I think that now they're going to try and get players there that he'll also want to play with. Right? I think that's the best way to do it. Because that's what LeBron has done his whole entire life. He's either gotten players to the places that he wants to be. Like when he was in Cleveland, Kyrie was there. So he
He
made that move
wanted he
because of
wanted
that.
Kevin Love.
And he wanted Kevin Love and he got Kevin. And they had the number one pick and they traded him away for Kevin Love.
And it worked.
That's
It worked out.
it was amazing. Kevin Love played great. It was awesome. But that's what he did, right? Then he moved to Miami because Chris Bosh and Dwayne Wade were there. And that's two of already among an amazing team, right? Because they also had Ray Allen there as well.
Yeah, Ray Allen came after the Celtics.
Phenomenal team. He gets his guys, and then he goes to the Lakers.
Hmm.
And then AD goes to the Lakers, right? Because they went the same year.
No, no,
When
no.
they
LeBron
traded
went
for
a year
AD.
earlier,
A year earlier, and then the year after that, they traded for AD because he wanted AD.
and
So
AD wanted to go there too.
exactly, they wanted to play with each other. Boom. Now you got that. They had JaVale McGee there in that first year when they won, which
Mm.
was really good. And they kept on moving guys over there. They made a ton of trades. They got rid of Lonzo and Kyle Kuzma
Ingram.
and Ingram, and they made moves to get other guys to make it work
Well,
with the
Kuzma was
money and
later, but yeah,
everything.
I see.
But he still made the moves, right? Like he got rid of all he started a
Oh,
whole
to
new
get
culture for the
Westbrook,
team.
and then
Exactly.
that
But
didn't
look what he
work
did,
out. But
right? He made sure that everything got done. Curry is good enough to do the same thing, right? They
mhm.
had a super team with Clay, Curry, Draymond, Iguodala, and KD, and now that team is gone now because obviously they can't even afford that, right? KD, but they want a ring.
Yeah.
So KD's gone now. Clay, either he's gone or if he comes back, he's just now he's going to be 10 points at best on average.
Mhm.
So he's nothing that's going to in a couple of years he probably won't be there anyways. Draymond, he still hasn't like figured out his issues with the suspensions and stuff. Like, I don't think he can ever change the kind of player he's going to be.
Mhm.
So he's kind of a liability, which just leaves Steph again. Leaves Steph and Kaminga are the two big ones, and hopefully Wiggins finds his way back. But this is not a lineup that sounds like they can ever win a championship right now.
Mhm. I
While
think.
Curry's there and still
Mhm.
playing at this incredible level, go find some guys. Go find guys who are great right now. Go find some great defenders and make it happen. In my opinion, even though Bam was Defensive Player of the Year, I think he didn't have as good a year as he's had in the past. I don't think his value is as high as it should be. Go try and get a guy like that. Go make some moves for some younger guys who are good on defense and can score. And that's going to help Curry because Curry is not going to play defense. Like he plays defense, but not to that level.
Yeah,
And he
yeah.
has to shoot. That's his job, is to shoot and make plays. But if he has nobody around who can make shots and play defensively, what's he going to do?
Mhm.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I think that they have
They
work to
definitely
do.
need like another scorer because
Yeah.
Curry can't do everything
And they
because
need to
it's
find a young
nighttime.
scorer. They need to
I
find.
know,
They
I
can't
know.
go and get Chris Paul, right? Like that doesn't work, right?
Yeah,
So
Chris
go
Paul's
find
going to
someone else,
pass. He's not
right?
gonna
Go
get you
find your
buckets.
Tyrese Maxey. Go find whoever else. Go find your Tyrese Halliburton. Go find someone. Because once Curry's gone, what does that team have? They're going to be a bottom feeder. Like they're setting themselves up
Mhm.
for failure. They
I
need
mean,
to
he's
go
on
find some.
contract for the next 2 years, so till 2026,
Yeah.
2025.
So they've got 2 years. They should do something this offseason, though. I think that this is now kind of a reality check for them. Either they should try and move up in the draft and get someone, or go make a trade.
Mm-hmm.
What we notice in the NBA is that every single team is willing to move everybody. Everyone has a price, right? Almost anyone can get moved, especially if they're just like an above average mid-tier shooter.
Mm-hmm.
You're gonna be able to move it and it's not gonna cost you a lot either, right? It seems like draft picks just get moved here like it's water, like it doesn't even matter.
Mm-hmm.
So go make a move, right? It's possible. We're watching LeBron do it wherever he goes. This guy commands something.
And he wins
Uh,
every organization he's gone to, he's won.
yeah, and you see that when you have a good team, like think about it for us, right? We saw it firsthand with the Toronto Raptors 2019.
Yeah.
That it was a decent team. And Ujiri decided to have the guts to be like, you know what? DeRozan is just he's not working out. This is not the guy,
Mm-hmm.
right? He's a great player, but obviously he's not going to do it for us.
He's not
He
Kawhi
made
level.
him he made a move for a superstar and Kawhi Leonard. Got him here. Obviously, there was some injury concerns, so his value was slightly lower. Made the move. You put a superstar with already a talented offense that has a ton of chemistry, and you have
Mm-hmm.
guys like Fred VanVleet who step up because you drafted well or signed well.
Yeah,
Bro,
that team was good.
look, they
That
won a
was a good team.
championship. It was the perfect example of everything coming together.
And they also traded for mid-season. They traded Valanciunas for
Yeah.
Marcus Gasol because Masai
Yeah.
was like,
Go get experience in the
who's
but
gonna defend?
you go get the experience in the
Mm-hmm.
middle of the season. Don't do it in the beginning of the season because then it screws up all your cap. Right? Chris
Mm-hmm.
Paul's money stops them from doing anything else in the year. Right? They don't even know if they made a trade
The
mid-season.
Wiggins is the Wiggins and the
Yeah.
Draymond contract. They're both making
Yeah.
20 plus mil, 24, 26, and it just goes up and up each year.
Yeah. Yeah.
They have backloaded it or front loaded. No, it's
It's
backloaded.
backloaded. But basically all I'm trying to say is that they need to make a move. Or they need to make a
Hmm.
bunch of moves. They need to clear this cap. They need to start from scratch. Having
I don't know if
Steph
they
Curry
can
still
clear
in
the
the middle
cap
of it.
because no one wants that Wiggins contract. It's so bad after the
I
fourth
bet
season
that they
hit.
could get someone to take it though. Because here's the thing, the Warriors could even retain some salary. They don't have to give it all away, but they need to get a bunch of it off. They need to, I don't know what they're gonna do about Chris Paul. Like, how many years does he have left?
Says till next year,
Oh my
and it's
God.
not a player option or a team option.
So either they look for a trade partner or they just buy him out because I don't think he's worth keeping on that
I
kind of
think
money.
they just buy him out. That's the only
Yeah, I think
reason.
they just do that. Play's going now.
But
Draymond, I think, is still movable. I think that teams would be willing to have him. I think people like guys who are kind of just willing to do anything for the team.
but is it the suspension or like the temper that his attitude?
Yeah, it
Because
kind of
he said, I don't know if he wants to leave because he said, like, even though he always talks about LeBron, he always says, the day I retire is when Steph retires. That's what he said.
yeah, so you wouldn't want to go.
But this draft, it's weak too. So I don't know what the Warriors are going to do.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't like using the word weak because obviously you have to be incredible to be even in that position. But I agree that
Weaker.
compared to years past,
Yeah.
it doesn't feel like it's elite. Like, especially after coming off a draft where Wembanyama went one, you're never gonna come near that, right?
Yeah. I mean, this
So
year's draft and even last year's might even be go down as one of the best.
yeah, and I mean something weird that happened was that Bronny declared for the draft, right? So
No, not last year, 2 years ago. Yeah, Bronny for
I'm
sure.
really confused about it because I don't understand what he's done. He entered the what am I saying? Transfer portal
Hmm.
and then declared. But doesn't it mean that if he doesn't get drafted, he can't be drafted again?
I don't know. He did some weird clause or something where if he doesn't get drafted, he can still go back to college and choose.
Oh, oh, that's why he entered the transfer portal.
Yeah. Yeah, that's why.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, that's enough of the Warriors. We talked about them for a
Yeah,
while.
Jesus. Oh
The
my
Warriors
God.
downfall,
Sorry.
I'm here for it. So, moving on to the next play in the East, we had the 76ers versus the Miami Heat. 76ers, they won.
Yep.
Did Embiid play that game? I don't think he.
Yeah, but remember he hurt his knee?
Oh yeah, he hurt his knee on that putback alley.
Yeah.
That was crazy. But
He stayed in the
oh, and
game.
then
He
Jimmy
stayed.
got hurt though.
Yeah, he did get hurt.
That was kind of a dirty play by Kelly Oubre. I mean, Jimmy said he'll beat his ass.
Yeah.
So I
I
don't
don't know
know.
what it is. I'm
Jimmy's a
not a big
big,
fan of Kelly Oubre. This guy talks a lot of crap, right? He talks
yeah,
a lot
but
for a guy who's not
this guy can
like,
poster.
yeah.
And the ladies love him, obviously, you know?
Yeah, for some reason.
I mean,
Uh,
some reason, it's pretty fine, bro. No homo. But
Okay.
yeah, the 76ers beat the Heat, so the 76ers are playing the Knicks now. We'll get into that later. The Heat, they're playing the Celtics, and then the Hawks play the Bulls. I think the Hawks, no, the Bulls won.
I
The
have no
Bulls
idea.
won, and all the Bull, and then they lost to the Heat without Jimmy.
Yeah, I did hear that actually.
The Hawks, apparently they're saying one of the backcourt duos, one of them is going to leave this year. So you
Yeah,
got
but
Trey
well,
or
because everyone's saying that Trey might get traded. And did you
yeah,
see in
one of them.
the report, Trey was listed like fourth most, like with the votes of most overrated. I couldn't believe that when I saw it.
Yeah, just because I mean, I feel like people just don't like his play style, but honestly, it's just like he's kind of like Curry, but just
He's not
less.
overrated though. He's
Yeah,
not overrated. I
he's
think he's
underrated, I think.
actually I know you know what I think he's correctly rated. I think
No,
he's
I
a
think he's
really good
underrated.
player.
People forget that he can drop 30 on you just every night.
Yeah, the problem is that they're not I mean now they're winning, but they weren't before.
Hmm.
But yeah, I think he's an elite scorer.
Hmm.
I don't know why he would be considered
It's
overrated.
just not
Out of
working out
81
there.
players, I would love to know who those 81 players are. Yeah, I know it's anonymous, but I would love to know because I wonder
Probably
who
his own
gave him that much.
teammates.
It might be. Yeah, it might be.
No, but people saying get trade to the Spurs. It's kind of
Yeah.
funny how they took DeJounte from him. I think they gave up 3 first-round picks for DeJounte a few years ago. And now you want to give trade to them. But yeah,
Yeah.
one of them's gonna leave. I saw a stat where when they play together, they're a minus offense. But when either of them are playing by themselves, they're a plus
Mhm.
offense. So it's kind
Yeah.
of weird.
Dude, the team is better with him, so I
I
don't
don't
know.
know. Someone's gonna get traded for over there. But Miami and Chicago. I mean, Chicago, you guys had a good run this year, but let's be real, you guys weren't getting past the first round or second round at most,
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know, because you have no Zach LaVine. Like that Bulls roster is not very talented, no depth. You're only gonna go so far.
Yeah, they're missing what they need, which is they in the playoffs, like the one thing that has to be a constant is that you have someone who's dropping 30.
Hmm.
You have to have someone who's just making plays, and he wants it so badly that he'll do whatever it takes to get it, and they just didn't have that, right?
Hmm.
So, I mean,
Uh,
they didn't have a great year, so I'm not surprised.
well, let's take a look at the first round so far. We'll start in the
Well,
East.
let's start with actually the Knicks.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
don't know
the
if you
Knicks.
saw that last game.
Oh, game two?
At the end,
Hmm.
there was the NBA said with 27 seconds left, there should have been a foul on the Knicks forward,
Hmm.
which would have given them, I believe, shots. And then instead, the Knicks went down and put up a three, I think, to take the lead with like 13 seconds left or 12 seconds left. And it changed the whole entire, and then the Knicks won,
Hmm.
right? So the refereeing already playing a bit of a
Hmm.
part in that game.
People are saying it's rigged because they want New York, such a big market, they want them to win. But
Yeah, but the thing when people say that is that the funny thing is the league actually wants the opposite a lot of the time. They want to grow small markets.
nah, it's New York. We've
I
been
know it's
knowing.
New York, but they want to grow small markets. They
Nah, I
want
think
teams that are not big enough to be making it. Now, obviously, like you're saying, it's New York, it's a legendary thing, but I don't think it's rigged. Like I
I
think
think the
that's
Knicks
it's
win anyways.
phenomenal. They don't
The
need the
series.
refereeing for it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, just a crazy end to that.
Mhm.
These games so far in the first round have been really good. It's been a good first round so
But I
far.
also saw that Nick Nurse tried to call timeout twice
Yeah,
while Lowry was inbounding it to Tyrese Maxey. The refs missed that. I don't know how you miss him going like this so many
dude,
times, but
it's starting to
Knicks
become
in
like
four.
baseball.
I'm
This
not
is
Knicks in
exactly what
four.
it
I
is
think
in
Knicks win in
baseball.
5 or 6. It's 2-0 right now. Philly's going back home. They're getting some rest. Hopefully, I don't think they'll get swept. I think
I
Nick
think a
Nurse.
Knicks sweep is coming.
You really think a sweep?
I think so.
I don't think it's the sweep.
Well, because on Philly, I feel like they're not moving well. Like I feel like nothing's going to plan. Embiid's been okay, but you can tell he's not 100%. Like I feel like he wasn't ready to come back.
No,
Right?
but I
His
think
knee, I bet, still bugging him a bit.
they're gonna win. They're gonna win back in Philly. I think Embiid's gonna. I'm betting on Embiid next game. I'm gonna
Actually, the
bet
Philly
the.
crowd is pretty good. That crowd can really get that team.
Yeah.
So maybe they will get a maybe they will
Oh,
get the
we'll see. But yeah, Knicks 2-0 right now.
The
And
Knicks
then
will win the series, though. I think is what's going to happen. I
sure.
think the Knicks get the
Bucks
series.
and Pacers. It's 1-1 right now. I know you saw that game one where Dame 35 and a half,
Bro.
but now
And
this
then he
time,
scored 0 in the second half.
I mean, he didn't need a score, so I ain't gonna get mad, but
But did you see we don't really talk about betting on here, but did you see that there was a bet placed on him where the guy bet that he would have over 35.5 points, and he was hyped after the first half. Dame
oh,
scored 0 in the second half. The guy lost like
oh
five
no,
and a half.
I'd be sick if that happened to me.
Dude, that's one of the worst beats ever. Oh my goodness. But yeah, Dame, I mean, he dropped 35 in the first half, which was kind of gangster, and then played like I don't even know.
I
In
mean,
the
it was a
second-
blowout, but I need to talk about Tyrese Halliburton. This guy, I don't know what the hell has happened to this guy. He is not the same player he once was. He used to drop what, 20s and like 15 assists.
It was, I
Now he
think,
drops,
21 a game,
yeah.
11 point or almost 12 assists a game before the All-Star break. Like he was on fire. He had a couple of games where he was above 15 assists. Oh, more than a
Yeah,
couple.
but I don't know what happened to him, but I don't know. They say it's an injury, but last two games he had, I think he had 9 or 10 points, and today he had
Did the
12 points.
Pacers even like confirm that? Did they confirm that? I think
No,
that's
but
just fans saying it.
I mean, I remember you said that to me last time, so I'm just saying what
Yeah,
you.
because I said that because the fans have been saying that. And I said that the Pacers
I
did not
mean,
confirm
we're
it.
not. I don't watch Pacers games, so I can't really see.
I
But
don't
like,
watch
I'm sure
Pacers
if you
game either,
watched
but
him
I'll tell you
before,
what,
you can tell.
Halliburton does not look like he's even moving the same. Like he
Yeah, and
doesn't.
he was an all-star. This is inexcusable for an all-star to be dropping 9 points, 12 points. I don't care how many assists you give me.
He's
That team cannot score without you.
he was a star.
Siakam is carrying so hard
He,
right now.
he is a star. He's a star player, Halliburton. But this is
Well,
in the
you gotta
playoffs.
prove in the
You have to be
playoffs.
better than what you were in the regular season, right? Like, why do you think Giannis has won a championship, or LeBron's won a championship, or Steph Curry's won championships, or whatever? It's because these guys were unbelievable in the playoffs, right? They don't get cold when it matters most. And unfortunately, home stretch and now in the playoffs,
Mhm.
guys cold, right? And he might still be playing well to the standard of the NBA, but to the standard that everyone has put on him now based on his play in the first half of the season, cold, not good.
Mm, but Pacers, it's 1-1 right now. Siakam's doing his thing. I'm happy he's having a good year over
Yeah.
there.
The Raptor, man. The Raptor.
But yeah, it's 1-1. I don't know when Giannis will be coming back. I think after the first round, but the Bucks gotta learn how to play without Giannis.
Yeah.
Because I saw Middleton, he got injured, but he came back. But we'll see how bad that ankle sprain really is. And then we got the Cavs and the Magic. The Cavs are 2-0 on the Magic.
Yeah, I mean, the Cavs, the only reason why they were like, 'cause where'd they finish in the standings this year? Number
Fourth,
five?
fourth.
Four. They were three for a while. And the only reason why they didn't finish there was because Donovan Mitchell was hurt, right?
No, no, no. They intentionally lost that game.
Okay.
No, 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 no. Look at the last game.
No, no, I
They
mean
played
for the
against the
season
Hornets.
though. I mean for the season though.
Oh, for this. Oh, yeah.
That's what I mean. In the last game, whatever they did it because of seeding, right? They knew what they were doing. Because
Because
that obviously makes
they want to
sense.
play the
Let's
Magic.
play a worse team. Actually, that doesn't make sense. Why would they intentionally lose? Are they
No, they
better?
wanted to play the Magic instead of the Pacers
Uh,
or the
Honestly,
76ers, one of
both are
them.
nothing special. But the Magic are they've got a kind of deep team, but it's kind of young as well. So
But Jalen
they,
Suggs just got hurt. I don't know if you saw that.
yep,
Sprained knee sprain. Oh my God. I remember I sprained my knee. That's no joke. That shit hurts. But he's
yeah.
probably out for the rest of the series. So now you're down another guy. This team can't really shoot. And you're against Jared
No, because
Allen,
who's their
grabbing
best
20
shooter now?
boards.
Cole Anthony? Is that Cole
Well,
Anthony? Is
he
that their
was
best
over
shooter?
4 in game two. It's Joe Ingles is their best. And you got a 39-year-old as your best shooter. That's just unacceptable. You got an old
Yeah, it's
retirement 50-year-old
nuts.
man going up against Mitchell and all these, but Cavs, I ain't afraid of them. They're gonna lose probably. They won't make it past the second round. But
What did Zaim say?
Cavs
Zaim
beat the
said Cavs are
Magic.
in the final. Is that what Zaim said?
Yeah, but
Cavs in the final. So I
his
mean, I
takes are
don't.
questionable. I know you're reading. I know you're listening to this. Don't edit that part out, Zion. Anyways, we got Heat and Celtics. Okay, do we really need to talk about this?
Bro, Celtics, what are they up? Are they up 1-0 right now?
I think it's 1-0.
Yeah, it's 1-0. They only played one game. It's going to be a sweep, I'm pretty sure. I
No
would be
Jimmy.
surprised if they sweep this round and the next round. Okay, they had 60 plus wins this year. if they don't get to the final, if here's the thing, even though none of us predicted that they're going to the finals, if they don't go to the finals,
It's
it
a
is
bad.
a failure. It is an absolute failure. You do
I
not
think it's a
progress to
failure if
11
they don't
games.
win.
Honestly, yeah,
You went
that's how
all
they should
in.
be thinking. That's how they
You
should
got
be.
rid of Robert Williams. You got rid of Brent Williams. You got rid of some picks, and then you bring in Drew Holiday. You bring in Tingus Pingus, and you guys are at 64 wins. It's no excuse. You guys are the best team in the league record wise,
Yeah, without a
like
doubt.
roster wise, talent wise. You guys have to win.
No, I
You're
think
the
that they're
best
the best
35
team
in
in
the
the
league.
league, period. Right? If
Yeah,
you think about their best player, and you look in the
Tatum.
West, and you know the West is a little bit more competitive, but the Celtics, I think, are still better because they also have the experience. Right
Mm.
now, maybe Denver has a say in that. Denver might be the best
Yeah, I
one,
say Denver.
but the way that play went this season, the Celtics should win it all.
For
Should.
sure, I agree.
Imagine a Celtics Knicks conference final. I don't know if that's possible, but if it is, that would be insane.
It is possible.
Is it for
Because
conference final?
one seed will because the Celtics will face either the Cavs or Magic, and the Bucks and the
Oh,
Knicks
okay.
will face either the Bucks or the Pacers.
There you go.
But
That'd be
yeah,
insane.
moving on to the Western Conference. We'll just go from seeding, it's easier.
Yep. Well, now we'll go from seed.
So we got the Thunder versus the Kings. Oh no, not the Kings, the Pelicans, sorry.
Yeah,
Now
Pelicans. Zion's not playing.
I need to talk about Ingram. Ingram, you're terrible. I don't know. You're ass, bro. You stank. I let me pull up this guy's stats real quick. Imran,
Go ahead, man.
you talk while I pull up these
This
stats.
guy, honestly, you hate Brandon Ingram. I already know it. Like you don't love him. What I will say though is no Zion. The Pelicans, they just like we were talking about before, you have to have someone that runs the offense. Even though Zion, people can say whatever they want about his weight and whatnot, this guy is a star and he runs the offense and he brings confidence to the team and he's not there. It changes everything. They won that play-in game, luckily, to get in. This is probably going to be a first round exit without him being there. And when other guys like Brandon Ingram, who were considered stars at one point, can't step up, I don't know what you expect, right? So I mean, Brandon Ingram didn't play well. No Zion. I'm blanking right now on who else is on that team.
Which
I know
one?
Herb
Oh, the
Jones.
Pelicans. You got
Yeah,
Dyson Daniels, Valanciunas, Alvarado, Herbert Jones,
yeah.
Trey Murphy.
So
Like you
not
have
also
talent.
just but it's also not an incredibly deep team, which
Hmm
means that you need your stars even more, right? And they
I
just
mean,
don't have.
they only lost by two. I didn't realize that.
Yeah, I mean, they're finding a way to keep themselves in it, but
Hmm
it's not it's not special. It's not what we're expecting. And obviously, we're not expecting them to beat OKC.
hmm
Like OKC is the best team for a reason. Shai is an MVP candidate for a reason. They've got a great squad there. So I expect them to obviously win this. But I love it whenever the bottom seed can give a run to the top seed, right?
hmm
Actually make them work for it. And I don't know. You would hope that a guy like Ingram, when the lights are now going to be on him to do something, he would show up and he didn't. So I mean,
He dropped 12 points, 5 for 17. If
yeah,
you dropped
not good.
three more points, your team would have won.
Not good enough. It's
CJ
just
McCollum, I think he had a bad game against the Lakers, but he had 20 on 22 shots. It's kind of 2 for 9. But when CJ plays good, the whole team plays
yeah.
good. Valanciunas had a good game, 13 and 20. That's what I'm saying. Attack Chet Holmgren. You're bigger than him. You're stronger than him. Trey Murphy played 44 minutes, gave you 21. If they had Zion, I think the Pelicans would actually make a run for the Thunder. Because I think Zion would just keep attacking Chet, get him in foul trouble, and then the backup is Jalen Williams. I messed with Jalen Williams, but he's not. He doesn't. He's 6'9". Chet's 7. Chet's 7'2", 7'1".
Yeah.
So big height difference. You take away the paint presence, then you get attack the paint, then you win games.
Yeah.
But I
And
think
to
the
beat
Thunder
the
would.
one seed, if you think about it, right, to
Mhm.
beat the one seed, everything has to come together for you. Everything. And this game just
Mhm.
proved that. Everyone else played a good game. They played to what they're paid and what they're expected, and some of them exceeded that, except for Brandon Ingram. Right? He plays slightly better, they win the game. If Zion was in the lineup, they probably win the game. Right? That's how close they managed to keep it. but one guy didn't play to the level he needed to, and now they're down against the top seed in the West and the second best or third best team in the league. And now you have to, even though it's how many, what's the series right now? It's just 1-0, right?
Yeah, 1-0.
It's
But
still
it's
an
a big
uphill
game.
battle being
You
one down.
want to, you always want to steal a game, especially if it's home court against the one
Exactly.
seed. That was
Exactly.
the game to win. But this
That
game, you
was
really have to, the
and
next coming game.
momentum during the NBA and
Mhm.
playoffs in general, momentum means everything. And having getting that win, you know how confident you would be coming off of that? Even the coaching would be different. Everyone would be so much happier going to practice, everything like that. Now instead, you lost. You still have to play one more game at OKC. And now you're like, oh, we couldn't do it the first time, right? So now they've got to figure it out. Something special's got to happen, right? Maybe CJ's just got to drop 30, right? Maybe that's what has to happen. Maybe he's got to work a little bit harder, right? If Ingram
Mhm.
can't step up, right? The coach
Uh,
has to decide if a guy's not playing good, maybe it's time to just take him out, right? Maybe he cannot
I
win.
personally, I mean, I was just losing silence such a big hurt. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know. But moving on. Oh my God. I don't want to talk about this, bro.
Oh, and
Just the
Lakers
Nuggets and
Nuggets.
the Lakers game.
Yeah, I mean, what's the series right now?
It's 2-0.
It's 2-0. To be honest with you, in my I know that everyone loves the plan and everything. Everyone who's in the plan, I don't expect that much from them. I know the Lakers have LeBron and AD. We have said it multiple times. You hear it all over social media and in general. The Lakers have no depth. They don't have it, right? You have two superstars, they have no support, right? We said it before. You can have the supporting cast, but without the stars, you can't be anything.
Yeah,
And the
it's vice
stars can't be
versa.
anything without the supporting cast. That's why there's bottom teams in the league, right? That's why guys don't play well. And now look, right? They did all this and they set themselves up and they won a championship in 2020. Every team would give up everything to win a championship, and they did it. But now they're feeling the pain of that, which is that all the money is with these two guys. They can't really make any moves. They've got money with other guys, and they haven't drafted well.
No picks.
Exactly. They've given away their
I mean,
future.
they could have taken Cam Whitmore, but they didn't want to take Cam Whitmore. You take Jalen Hood Shafino, who doesn't even play. But thankfully, Vando is coming back next game. So maybe that'll make a difference. But I don't know. That game, I feel like all the Lakers fans, they were like, okay, give us this one game, 1-1. We can make it competitive.
Yeah.
That shot, man, it just
Yeah.
crushed off Lake. Even the
Yeah.
players, do you see them? LeBron stormed off. He was like, fuck this shit. AD was like,
Yeah.
I'm out of here.
Well, so what they can take away from it though is that because what was the score in game one? Do you know?
Game one, I think the Lakers won. They lost by like a little bit, but it
Yeah.
wasn't. They lost by 11.
Yeah. So, okay. In the grand scheme, 11's not really a lot, right?
But
A couple of
this
players
game it was
improved
two.
slightly and it's better. And then you think about the last game, it was even closer, right? So if you want to think about confidence wise, what they have to be thinking, what the coach is probably saying is that we almost took one from them at home. These guys are worthy of the one seed. They've won the championships. They have the best players. They've got the MVPs recently. We almost took one, or we almost stole it. Let's go back home to this incredible crowd, incredible city who loves this team like crazy. Let's go win two games. I definitely think it's possible. You can never doubt LeBron, especially at home. When he's with a home crowd, he's a different player. And same with AD now. He's starting to become like that. So even though that was a tough game, two wins is definitely possible for them, especially considering how close that last game was. Denver should be pummeling them right now.
Hmm.
They should be absolutely crushing them, and they haven't been. So that's normally not the interaction you have with a 2 and 7 seed, right?
Hmm.
So now I think that they've got a shot, right? I think that they're playing one of the best 7 seeds that there could be, right? And if like D'Angelo Russell can kind of play like he did when he was at Brooklyn,
Yeah, like, he played
fine.
well in game two.
Yeah. So they need, but they need him to keep it up, right? He needs to keep it up. You already know LeBron's going to be phenomenal. This guy never has a bad game. And AD right now, this guy, he's playing great.
Playing good. He had
Yeah.
20 something in the first half.
Yeah. No,
It's just so
their stars are
frustrating
playing
because
good.
I feel like everything went right, but they still won.
Yeah, that's what'll make it slightly demoralizing is that
But
everything went right for them and it still didn't work out, which that means that the team that you played is just that good, right?
hmm,
But don't forget, LeBron James is on the
hmm.
Lakers, right?
I need to talk about Austin Reeves. This guy had two stinkers in both games. He shot
Yeah.
like disgusting 30%, 20 something percent. He was like 4 for 15. you're the third guy. You're supposed to be the third guy on this team.
Yeah,
You're supposed to handle the ball. You're supposed to shoot the ball.
yeah,
You can't be saying I'm him and hitting these clutch shots and not perform in
yeah.
the playoffs.
So he needs to have a
LeBron
reason.
needs you. The whole
Yeah,
city of LA needs this guy. This guy, what used to be my coldest favorite white boy, he's
yeah.
not anymore. So I don't
Yeah,
know. The Lakers
basically the
hope
argument we just had for Brandon Ingram, it applies to Austin Reeves as well because honestly, this year he's considered a starter. He's considered one of the best players. He needs to make sure that he's playing at the top of his game when it matters most. And you know what? The home crowd as well. Something you notice about him, whenever he's at home, he plays better, right? And I mean, dude, we
the
remember
Lakers
from a
crowd, you
couple
know?
years ago, you get some smoking girls in the front seats, and this guy plays like LeBron, right? Get get someone down there, find some models. I don't care what it is. Put them down there and make sure he sees
And
them.
oh, trust me, the model's gonna be there in game three in LA.
Exactly, exactly. And this guy loves that. He
Enough of
loves
this series. I
right.
am
He'll
talk about them until
he'll
next
play
time.
like LeBron on Miami at that time. So
But
yeah,
moving on to the Timberwolves. Timberwolves and Suns. Timberwolves 2-0 up. I
this
called
is
it.
this is hurting
I
me right
called
now.
it.
This is hurting
Your
me.
Suns, man. Your Suns
I
are
know,
stinking
I
ass.
know. It's kind of been a weird year for the Suns. Like they just you were right at the very beginning of the season, which was that getting Brandon Beal was not going to do anything for them, right?
Brandon Beal.
Oh, sorry, Bradley Beal. Jeez, um, he
It's
just
just it just doesn't work. You have three scorers. Like I think you needed a point guard. You should have kept a point guard. You should have kept a wing or a big or something. You didn't need another scorer.
well, maybe they should have just kept Chris Paul, right?
I think if
Sure.
that I don't know if they would have had enough then. I know. I think if they still had Chris Paul, I don't think it would have worked out still. But
I
I
know
feel like
when he was
their
there, like
offense,
they were good, right? Like they were good with him there. So
yeah. But that
why
team
did
was
we
also
mess
more
up
balanced.
those kind of going? But I mean, they have Kevin Durant, man. They have Kevin Durant. They have Devin
They got
Booker.
oh my
They've
God.
got
Do you see the
Beal.
stat from today?
No, what was it?
All three of them combined 18 for 45.
Ugh. Oh my God.
It wasn't good. Jaden, you know, remember that Ant meme where he was like, they got Kevin Durant, we got Jaden McDaniels. Jaden
Yeah.
McDaniels dropped 25, a career high. He dropped 7 more points than KD
Yeah.
in less minutes and less shots. Or same minutes,
Let's
less
see
shots.
when they go back to AZ. Let's see
Oh,
what they
more
do when they go
shots.
back to Phoenix. Let's see what happens.
If
Like
I
I
think
said,
if the
I don't like
Suns,
to say anything until
hmm,
there's a home crowd. I want to see what they do at home. Because if they pop up and crush it for two
gonna
games, then you know
lose.
that that's what matters, right?
You're gonna lose though because I saw Grayson Allen also sprained his ankle. He's out. He only played 17 minutes
Yeah, huge defensive player for them,
and
and
a
score.
3-point shooter
Yeah,
too.
exactly.
Uh,
It's a big
I feel
loss.
like this game was the one to win because Ant only had 15. Then he
Yeah,
had
whenever
three.
these
He was
guys
three
have an
for
off
12.
game, you have to catch them,
I
and you have
know,
to do it, and they didn't.
but
And
I think the Wolves got it. Unless the Suns win these two next games, I think the
yeah,
Wolves got it.
win both at home.
And
Which
last,
you also have to say, like, same argument as what we said for the Lakers. They have three guys who can do it, right?
mhm.
Devin Booker's been to a final. Kevin Durant's won a championship. Bradley Beal, I mean, I don't even know what to say about this guy. Like, he's really good, but he just hasn't been. Like he can be. I hope he does it. But KD and Devin Booker have the ability to win a game together. They can do it, right? They've got enough depth to make it work, but
Eh,
I think that they can definitely steal a couple of games, right? At
because
this point now, I can't really say
you
if
don't
they're
think
gonna.
they win the series though. I think they'll win one or two.
I'm
I
just
think
saying I think that they have the ability to win the home games. I'm not saying they're gonna win the series, but I mean you could push it to 7. I could definitely see KD doing that, right? You don't think that KD can pull up and just score 40? He absolutely can.
no, this is what I believe. He's gonna draw 40 and they're still gonna lose.
Yeah, maybe. He draws 40, D Book draws
I
70.
I have no
Maybe they
I have
still.
confidence that he can.
Yeah, at all, like we're saying, it has to be a whole entire group working together, right? It's just not that right
Yeah.
now.
So now we got the Mavericks and the Clippers game. Game two just finished. It's 1-all.
Oh, Mavericks won?
Mavericks won by 3. It
Mavericks won, right?
was a close
That's
game.
I
Uh
saw the first one because the Clippers kind of crushed them.
yeah.
But Mavericks, I mean, they're a dark horse, I think, to kind of win it all.
Mhm.
I think that, and that's only because like of Luca and Kyrie. Like I think last year they had kind of a weird chemistry, didn't really look like it worked out. But this year they found the form.
It's the surrounding pieces that they got.
Yeah. So it's all kind of working out and the coaching is all working out. And Luca is playing like just such a beast, man. 34
Mm.
points a game, like
Yeah, he
so
dropped
tough to do. You have to be
32,
so good.
6 and 9 today.
Yeah. That's a good
Um,
player. How did
but
Kyrie do?
I find that when Luca's team helps them, they win every game. It's
Yeah.
like I don't know if you remember game one, but game one, no
Everyone was
one.
so bad. Dude, do you see how many threes they were shooting and nothing was going in?
Yeah, Derrick Jones Jr.
Weren't they
No
down
point
by like
ball.
20 at the half?
Yeah, it was bad,
It
but
was
it was
bad.
literally just Luca and Kyrie. They gave you 30 apiece.
Yeah.
But
What
like
about today? How did Kyrie do today?
Kyrie, he had 23, 6 and
Yeah.
3. Kind
So,
of didn't shoot that efficient, but he had 3 steals.
yeah,
Not
but
bad.
one thing about Kyrie, is that this guy, he's like the quarterback of that team. Like he really runs that offense. And Luka is just like the
They
star.
both can. They can switch whenever they want.
Yeah.
Oh, you want
Yeah,
the ball? Okay, here. You have the ball, you know?
exactly. They make
But
it work so well.
but
So I
they
mean,
actually got some bench production today.
I think the Mavericks are going to win that series. I hope they win that series. I'm not a huge Clippers fan, to be honest with you. I like Kawhi
Mhm.
obviously, but I'm not a huge Clippers fan.
What surprised me is Zubats is having a good season or
Yeah,
good enough
he
series.
stepped up,
He
but also
dropped 20
Kawhi
and
hasn't been playing,
15.
right? So
Yeah, yeah. No, Kawhi came back today and they
he came
lost.
back today, but I mean, this year he missed a bunch of games.
Oh yeah, yeah. But I think he's rusty. He was 0 for 5 from three, 7 for 17, 15 points.
Yeah,
Just not what you expect from Kawhi.
not what
But
you expect, but he
Harden.
still had a good defensive game. So
Harden had a good game. Harden
yeah,
has had a good series. Dropped 20 plus in both. It's not give you 40 or anything, but
not his prime
26 and
numbers.
8. I'm happy with those numbers.
How's Paul
But it's just
George?
Paul George, he had 22, 2 and 4, but it was just kind of mediocre. It's not good for him, you
Yeah, but
know.
I think that from what I saw at the beginning of the game, the whole entire team wasn't really moving that well. So I mean, like we keep on saying, right? It's over and over again. It's the same argument. Everyone else has to be doing what they need to do in order for you to do well also. And so I mean, Paul George, he's a great player. He had a decent game, but these are the games that they're going to lose, right? The game when Kawhi scores 15 and Paul George scores 23 or 22. Like Paul George and Harden need to find a way to get 30 to 40 points, right? That's the caliber that they are. That's the level of play that they are. You know that
Yeah, I
Kawhi
don't
is
know
probably
why.
going to give you
Like,
around 20 to 25 a night plus his
hmm.
defensive ability. So they have the pieces to do it. Um, and then I mean Westbrook off the bench, he's great.
He was okay. He didn't shoot the
Yeah.
ball. He was 2 for 9, but he got
He was better
seven,
in the
9,
first game.
3.
Yeah.
He basically he did a little bit of everything,
Yeah.
But
Which
it's
is what they
just
expect from him off the bench, but
but if,
they've
if the
got work to
Clippers
do.
lose this year, it's a failed year for so many of the teams, not just them this year.
Yeah.
Phoenix, it's a failed year. Lakers is a failed year. Pelicans, nah, not really. Mavericks, kind of a failed year. Clippers, failed year. Timberwolves, I don't think anyone expected them to be this good, so I wouldn't say it's a failed year.
I think to them it might be because Anthony Edwards, it sounds like really holds himself up to a high standard.
Mhm.
So
But
maybe not this year. It's kind of their first real year of contention.
yeah,
But they should, if they don't get out of the first round, it's a
yeah,
fail.
yeah. I think
They
minimum they want finals or conference finals.
they need to get to the conference final, and then everything kind of works
Mm.
itself out from there.
Nuggets, they already won, but yeah, they if they don't make it back to the finals, Thunder, if they lose, I mean, they just have to make it past the first round.
Yeah,
And
once again, it's another
just really
team
good.
where they had a really good regular season, but now they have to consistently play great teams. Let's see how they do in their first
Mhm.
year of contention. I also think conference final for them is a must, but
Mhm.
that I don't expect of like, oh, they have to be in the final. Like I think only Boston is
Mhm.
the team that has to be in the final or win for it to not be a failed year.
No, I think the Bucks as well, because you
Yeah, but
traded all this
what
for
about if
Dame.
Giannis doesn't play though? Like, what if his injury
No,
is
no,
like,
but yeah, yeah, but if Giannis comes, if say the Bucks lose this round, I feel like
oh
it should
yeah,
be on Lillard, but if they make it past, then it's on the whole team because you have
yeah,
Giannis back,
yeah.
and it's like you trade all this for
Well,
Dame.
think about it like this: Lillard managed to get that Portland team out of the first round multiple times.
Yeah, but I feel like
Why can't he get the Bucks team
he
out?
has CJ.
Yeah, but he's got Chris Middleton. I mean, Middleton's not great.
The way you just
They've
compared
got
Chris Middleton.
they've got Bobby
No,
Portis as
Prime
well. They've got
CJ
Bobby
was
Portis.
nasty.
They've got a decent team there. So yeah,
But Cavs, it's a a failed year as well, because I feel like Donovan Mitchell's gonna leave, so you just trade everything for just mediocrity.
That will suck.
Magic,
If he
not
actually goes, that would.
he's gonna leave. Magic, no, it's not a failed year. I feel like they're so
No.
young, no one
They
expected
had a
them
good
to
year.
win.
It was a good team.
Pacers, not a failed year. Sixers,
Yeah, they had a rough ending stretch, right? So it's hard to say when Embiid's not playing,
if they
right?
get Embiid back, then it's a failed year. But I don't know. It's just you're wasting your MVP's prime, you know?
Yeah, they got to get out of the first round first, right? Give him some more
But
time to
yeah,
really get into it. But yeah,
but I don't know. There's few teams that desperately need to like make something this playoffs. They need to do something, you know?
yeah. But yeah, so that's kind of
That's all the
the wrap
NBA.
up of
Yeah.
everything. Right, we talked about NFL, talked about the NBA.
Oh, Champions League. We need to talk about that soon.
Yeah, we'll get on that because I don't know when the next matches are, but I think we've got some time. But I think
Yep.
instead
I
what
want
we're
to
gonna
hear you
do is
talk about Arsenal, buddy.
okay, we're gonna do some analysis. We're not gonna talk about this right now, but we'll have some analysis for that. We'll talk about kind of the predictions for what's gonna happen going forward.
Mm,
Some teams underperformed, like the guys that normally wear white, they didn't do so good, but they still managed to pull off the win. So
hmm
we'll definitely have some talk about that. We'll talk about kind of what's going on in their leagues, anyways. That way we kind of get a proper basis going into the final matchups. We'll
hmm
continue to cover the NBA because this is huge. NFL draft is this Thursday, so definitely gonna take a look at that. We're gonna definitely do a draft recap probably on Monday, maybe slightly sooner, but I think Monday is probably gonna be because it'll all be done, all the trades will be done, and all the buzz will have happened for everybody. It'll be pretty exciting. Um,
All right, so that's it for the lunch table, guys. It's your favorite chink, Ethan, and your favorite Pakistani man, Imran. We're signing off. We'll see you guys Monday or Sunday. We'll talk about the draft then. Yeah. See you guys soon. Peace out.
yeah. Have a good one.